last 6 years, Democrats in the Senate have filibustered bills and nominations 589 times. Less than 1 year into the Biden presidency, they've suddenly declared that the filibuster is unfair and it's overused. So they're planning to remake the Senate in their own image, where the voice of the minority is no longer heard and no longer respected. That's the plan for the Democrats. Stop allowing the minority voice to be heard. To be clear, the debate this week is not about voting rights. Federal courts already have the full ability to stay any law in any jurisdiction in any state in America that suppresses any voter or any group of voters. That's in federal law right now. This whole conversation about voter suppression is already protected by federal courts right now. The debate this week that Senator Schumer is bringing is about silencing the voice of the minority in the Senate and everyone that we represent.
Democratic values of housing equality, progressive taxation, and education equality, Democrats don't actually embody their values very well.
We're talking, once again, about a system that's been rigged.
Republicans today are to blame.
What we're talking about here is that blue states are the problem. Blue states are where the housing crisis is located. Blue states are where the disparities in education funding are the most dramatic. Blue states are the places where tens of thousands of homeless people are living on the streets. Blue states are the places where economic inequality is increasing most quickly in this country. This is not a problem of not doing well enough. It is a situation where the blue states are the problem.
In Democrats' policy platform.
But if you go and look at Washington State, what you find is that in Washington State, if you look at the state and local taxes that people pay there, less affluent families pay a much larger share of their income in taxes than the wealthiest residents of Washington State. So people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, two of the state's most famous and wealthy residents, are in this lovely situation of paying less in taxes as a share of their income than the poor people who live in that same state. And this is a fundamental inversion of the values that the Democratic Party professes. There's no state with a more regressive system of taxation than Washington State.
Now, this fencing is different than the barriers that went up after January 6th.
The hope is this fencing won't have to stay up very long. And while it does look familiar, there are major differences between the fencing that's up now and the fencing that was up before. When the Justice for J6 protesters show up Saturday on the west side of the Capitol, they'll be greeted by this new fence. After the January 6th attack on the Capitol by supporters of former President Trump, fencing went up around the entire Capitol complex and beyond, blocking roads and access to neighborhoods. Unlike after January 6th, when there were 2 rows of fencing and razor wire, today it's just 1 row of fencing and no razor wire. But there are additional measures, like these temporary surveillance cameras. And the U.S. Capitol Police Chief plans to deputize additional police officers from around the region, including from Montgomery, Arlington, and Fairfax counties.
Supreme Court across the street. We're going to walk across here real quick.
The D.C. National Guard is also on standby should they be needed.